The King's Secret by Forecast in Skull Screen.
Once was a king called Labhraidh Loingseach, and he was the king of Leinster, but he had a terrible secret. When the king was a young boy, he stopped speaking after seeing his father and grandfather killed in front of him. He did not talk for a long time after that, but then one day, in the middle of a hurling match, a hurl hit his leg and he cried out, "I'm hurt." From then on, he became known as Larry, meaning he speaks in Irish.
Once there was a king called Labhraidh Loingseach. He had strangely long hair and also wore a tall crown to hide a secret that, if was to be told, it would end his reign as king.
The king was born with horse's ears. When he went swimming, he wore a cloth swimming hat. When he went fighting, he wore a helmet that Vikings wore. When he listened, his ears pricked up.
Once a year, the king gets a barber to cut his hair in a private room. When a barber cut his hair, he would find the king's secret. They were confused that he did not swear them to secrecy, because he was going to kill them.
The king wasn't worried about the secret getting out because every time he got his hair cut, he killed the barber. Most of the barbers came through his front door but never came out. After many years of cutting the king's hair, no barber ever lived to tell the tale. Barbers abandoned their jobs or worked in secret for fear of being summoned to Labhraidh Loingseach's royal fort to cut his hair.
It was so hard to find a barber that the hair of the people of Ireland was so long that people would trip over their own hair. It became very hard to find for the king's servants to find barbers, but they had their orders to only return with a barber, so they got their weapons and escorted barbers to their final job.
The widow found out that her only son was going to cut Labhraidh Loingseach's hair. She was devastated. "Please don't harm my son," the widow said. "He's the only person I have. If he dies, then I'll probably die too." "What are you talking about, woman?" shouted the king. "No offence, but everyone knows if you go in to cut the king's hair, you don't come out," said the widow. "What? I didn't know that this secret is spreading around the place," shouted the king. "All right, can your boy keep a secret?" questioned the king. Yes, I can," whimpered Mark. "Fine, I promise that no harm will come to your son if he doesn't tell a living soul," said the king. "Now leave me one so I can get my hair cut in peace."
Markon took the scissors and sharpened them on the whetstone. Then he cut the king's hair. As black curls fell on the ground, Markon saw something on the king's head. "Sir," said the boy. "Speak up," said the king. Markon gasped and stood back. "Your Majesty, you have horse's ears," murmured the barber. "Now you know my secret," said the king, "and for that you shall be put to death. But I promised your mother I wouldn't, so now you shall cut my hair every year."
The people were so surprised to see him come back that people thought he must be a mighty fine barber to still be alive. And then people travelled far and wide to get their hair cut, and a big line was outside his house. But when cutting their hair, people asked questions, but his lips were shut.
Over time, his fame grew long and wide. Everyone wanted their hair cut, even if they were bald. The secret that he kept for the king was making him stay awake at night, and he wanted to tell someone, but he knew he would be killed.
Markon went to the druid for help. The druid asked him, "What did the king say exactly?" "He said you were not allowed to tell a living thing." "That doesn't mean you're not allowed to tell a tree or a dead man."
Markon took the druid's advice, and the next day he set off to the woods. There he found a tall walnut tree. He leaned in and whispered, "The king has horse's ears." Immediately he felt better than he'd felt in years, so he said it again and again and again. He skipped home in delight.
Markon did not know that close by the local harpist Craftina was looking for a tree to make a harp. He looked around and saw the same tall, handsome walnut tree that Markon told his secret to. Craftina cut down the tree and started to carve out a beautiful harp. Its strings glimmered in the sun like gold.
When Craftina finished decorating his harp with Celtic symbols, he got an invitation to play at Labhraidh Loingseach's party. He was honoured. He packed up his harp into a leather case.
Then the harpist came to a gracious feast with long tables that were piled with food, and entertainment was there. Acrobats and jugglers were also there. The king's dogs walked around trying to find some food.
The king got up from the table and clapped for someone to play music for him. Craftsman took out the tall, shiny harp and gently placed his hands on the harp. As the king plucked the harp replied, "The king has horse's ears, the king has horse's ears."
He took his fingers off the harp, but it kept saying, "The king has horse's ears." The king fell to his knees, and his crown flew off his head, and everyone saw his ears.
All you could hear was gasps, for now people knew the king's secret. Everyone was surprised, but nobody minded.
King Lynchock thought they would ridicule him, but instead of mocking, they were silent. Now they knew Larry's secret. He was the one and only king with horse's ears.
Now the king did not hide his ears anymore and was happy, so all the people were happy too. The barbers were not afraid to cut his hair anymore.